Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. It's me, ya girl, Layla. Today, as I'm filming this, it is the middle of the year, which is a little bit past maybe the middle of the year. Now that we are through the halfway point of the year, I thought it would be appropriate to do the mid-year freakout book tag. What the heck? How is that wrong? I know this is probably gonna be wrong too. What the hell? What the helly? What is the truth? Fable says that I've read 75 books. Goodreads says I've read 73 books. And like from me keeping track, it says I've read 73 books. I don't know what it is. There's probably like some short stories or like chapters that like count somewhere towards like extra reading, but whatever, I digress. For like my average reads, I've read about 75 books this year, where my goal is 100, so I am like almost there. Technically, my goal was to hit 500 books read on Goodreads, just like overall on my read shelf. Where am I at on my Goodreads shelf, like in total? I'm at 444 books read. It seems pretty doable at the track that I'm currently on. I consider doing a June reading wrap up, but with that being said, I think that I'm going to skip it this month only because I don't feel a ton inspired about a lot of the books that I read in June, and I was in like such a funky, slumpy mood to where like even books that I really enjoyed and like books that I enjoyed more than I did at the time, I didn't feel like positively about. So like just one of them for an example that I read was The Night and the Moth, and I think about that book a lot, especially since I've read it, but I rated it 4.25 stars. I really was not in the mood for that book when I read it. I just did not want any more spoilers because everyone was talking about it, and that was one of the books where I was like, if I don't read this now, even though I'm not in the mood, I'm going to get it spoiled, and like that was something I really just didn't want spoiled. So like I went into it feeling whatever, but I think I'm going to reread it, like especially before the next book comes out, whenever that is. Anyways, like I said, I wasn't fully in the mood for that, but I really liked it, and it's probably one of my favorite reads this year. I just feel like it was a very mid-reading month. I feel like everything was, for the most part, good, but like not hitting that cusp of like great. And there were only really a couple books, and then also The Night at the Moth. I can't speak, that's okay. No, actually it's not okay, but we're just gonna pretend that it's okay, because what can I do? What can a girl do? Also, why does this zoom so far and watch this when I go to click it? Is this normal, or are there like settings to adjust that? Because like, what? I don't know. Cam reception. I will say that I cannot help myself, so there is a possibility that there will be multiple books for an answer. And there might be some repeats in some places because I feel very strongly about the books that I do love. There's gonna be a little bit of crossover, but I make the rules here because it's my channel. To be completely transparent though, I was trying to use just one book per prompt, and then I was looking at everything that I had read and all my favorites, and I'm like, it's not gonna work. I just have too many favorites and I feel too strongly. Question 1 is the best book you've read so far, and it should be to no surprise that I have a stack of books here. So let me go over them, and this is gonna be pretty quick. First and foremost, the Zodiac Academy series. I read the first 3 books, and I'm also including the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac books. I'm still on the 5th book. I'm like 60% through it, but I am just loving the series so much. Adore it. I know the series isn't for everyone, but I think that it's really good, and it's like the CW ABC family drama shows that I loved as a teenager. Also throwing in Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. I read this as an arc for like the repub, and I just really love this. This book made me laugh so hard at certain parts, and I just love like a little questy tale. I will say I think about this book a lot from when I first read it, surprisingly. This question I don't think is a question on here, but if there was like an underrated book, I would say it's this one. These I'm going to just do like a quick rapid fire for romance novels, but the first is Happy Place by Emily Henry. We also have Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. We also have First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. This was the first BK Borison book that I have read, and I will be reading all of her backlog at some point, at some time. We have Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins for very obvious reasons. This book was a masterpiece, but this is actually an answer for one of my prompts later on, so I'll go more into detail about my feelings like in that prompt. Last but not least, and one of my top favorites, it's so hard because like all of these are my favorites, but this series has also stuck with me, and it is the Kindred's Curse saga. I have all of the 3 books that are published, but I'm just going to share this one. The world that Penn Cole wrote and the characters are just so good. I'm trying to think of like a way to describe this without like giving it a disservice, but if you love an FMC who is like not perfect, this is for you. If you love the court system in ACOTAR and like the world building, this is for you. If you love a broody MMC who will do absolutely anything for those he loves, this is for you. Question 2 is best sequel that you have read this year so far, and it is Sunrise on the Reaping. I just think that this was so well done and it clears up a lot of questions. There were so many good throwbacks to not even just the original 3 Hunger Games books, but also A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Listen, we knew that everything in the Hunger Games was terrible, but like reading this just made me realize how extra bad they were. Like, I don't know, like, I know that that sounds bad. It's like no matter how bad you think things are, oh no, like they're definitely worse in this book. And I cannot wait to watch this in the movie theaters and be horrified in person. This is how I best describe this book. It's like sitting on a train track and watching a train coming right at you, but you just cannot move because you're paralyzed. This is how I felt with this book because the writing is just so good. Suzanne Collins' storytelling is immaculate, and we all knew that it was going to end in tragedy, or at least I did. I mean, unless this is the very first Hunger Games book you're ever reading, I'm sure we all did. And I still was like, I need to know what happens. And poor Haymitch. That poor man. I understand why he's an alcoholic. I'm surprised he wasn't even more of an alcoholic. On to question 3, which is new release that you haven't read yet but want to. I have 2 books here, although I have like 50 in my backlog probably. I don't actually want to out myself with how many books that I have bought this year because it is quite literally a problem and one that I am maybe going to rectify. I truly need to go on a book buying ban, truly. The first book that I have on this list is Shield of Sparrows. I had this on my list not only because I wanted to read it, I am also easily influenced by beautiful sprayed edges. I have now had 2 friends that I know in real life, not even just on the internet, on Book Talk and here, say that I need to read this. We also have Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. Don't even start acting up over there, kitty. I love a vampire story, especially because this takes place in like dual timelines, I believe, or 3 timelines actually, and it's about vampires. More specifically, it's about toxic lesbian vampires. It just sounds super interesting, and I don't know if this is maybe more of a fall book because it's kind of giving these vibes, but I definitely want to read it. Question 4 is your most anticipated release for the rest of the year, and I'm sure that there are more books that are going to be coming out that I'm excited for, but I can think of 2 off the top of my head, and the first is the last book in the Witchwalker series by Carissa Weeks. I did read the first book, The Witch Collector, and I absolutely loved and devoured that book. I read that book so fast, and I didn't read the other books in the series because I was like, if these are all as fast-paced as the first, then I need to like wait till that last book comes out so that I'm not on a massive cliffhanger. So I'm excited for that, and I'm also excited for the next book in the Rose Hill series by Elsie Silver, which is Wild Card, I believe. Let me see when these books come out just so that I can give you better information about them. Well, maybe I lied. So the 4th Witchwalker book comes out, which is Kingdom of the Forgotten, and apparently there's going to be a 5th book. But I'm definitely going to be reading more of her books. Let me see when Wild Card comes out. Yeah, Wild Card also is published in September, September 9th. Question 5 is biggest disappointment of the year, and please don't come for me for this one. I mean, I feel like it's very split in the middle where people like it or they don't like it, and I am in the don't like it camp, and that is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This is one of the series that I am glad that I did not read back to back, because I think I would have been overly annoyed. I feel like there's a lot of repetition in these books if you were to read it back to back. I just wasn't satisfied by the plot twists and the ending. I think that with the plot twists, they were so cliche. It is disappointing though, because I really did love the first book, and there are certain scenes in the second book that will live in my head rent-free, such as like the poppy field scene. And I was really, really hoping to like that last book, because that last book, Fearless, did make or break the whole series for me. And unfortunately, because I didn't like Fearless as much, I'm done. I can't do anymore. Question 6 is biggest surprise of the year, and I have 2 books for this prompt. And the first one is Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. I will say this, I liked Heartless Hunter. I thought it was very good, but I thought it was very YA and it was very cliche. I did have some issues with the book, especially because I was like, she says she's such a big bad rebel, but I never really saw her doing anything that was like actually truly like what she was supposed to be apparently doing. Like, she does break into a prison or like try and break some witches out a couple of times. It was not believable to me at all in the slightest, like when she would do those things. And then she would get like shot and she would walk into like a party and it would be like nothing was wrong. She's like full on shot. It's fine. However, this book did clear up some of that, and I feel like this was the perfect ending to that duology. I will say too, I didn't quite buy in that Gideon and Rune actually like felt anything for each other. It was kind of cat and mousey to the point where it's like, are they just using each other for each other? Like to get information. But after reading this, I was sold. I really love this. Again, it was like the perfect ending to the duology. The second book that I would like to talk about is an arc that has not released yet, but trust me when I say when it releases, I need everyone to read it, and it is Thorn Season by Kira Azar. This book was amazing, and I went into it kind of blind. I'm so glad that I went into it blind, but this book has absolutely everything that you would want in like a YA, like new adult fantasy. I'm not quite sure which category it is in because it also hasn't released, but it was just so good, and the plot took me completely by surprise because everybody is guilty of something. The plot was plotting. It almost reminded me of The Cruel Prince, how there was like so much going on like in the world politically, and it was just so well done. Again, I can't talk about this a whole lot because the book isn't released, but yes, that is one of my best surprises of the year and probably one of my top favorite books. So like, before it releases, just know I will be talking a lot about this book, probably on my TikTok mostly, but I need everyone to know who is here that it's amazing. I need this book to blow up. It was also a book that like once I started reading, I could not stop reading it because I was so invested. The next question in this tag is your new favorite author who is either debut or new to you. And my answer for this is Penn Cole, who did write the Kindred's Curse saga. Let me just say that Penn Cole is so kind and so sweet, so intelligent. I went to Romantasy Book Con in February and she was there and I ran into her. I wanted so badly to get a signing for her and I wasn't able to like get a slot, but she was walking on the floor on one of the days in the convention and I went up to her and I just told her, I'm like, hey, like you're one of my new favorite authors. Like I fangirled pretty hard, not gonna lie. And she was so sweet. And she was so kind. And she was like, well, do you have the books with you? And I said no. And she was willing to sign them. She was willing to sign them even though I didn't have like a slot, and she was just on the floor. And it was so nice because like these authors are literally signing books all day. I'm pretty sure that their hands and everything are super cramped by the end of the day. And she just was so kind to all the other authors, all the vendors. She's just such a lovely person, like truly a lovely person. So I also just loved her books. I devoured her books. I am actually dying after the heat of the Everflame ending. So I just would really like to read Burn of the Everflame. There's actually a ball happening. It's like the Kindred's Curse ball. I forget what it's like exactly called, but it's going to be in Colorado, and all the attendees who go get like an advanced reader copy of Burn of the Everflame. To my knowledge, as I'm filming this, it's not completed yet, but the ball is August 30th, which is a day after my birthday. I don't have any more time, like vacation-wise, to take time off. And quite honestly, the tickets are like a little bit more expensive. I mean, for fantasy balls, they're like on the more expensive end, but I'm already doing like certain things. So like I can't afford to necessarily drop that kind of money, especially because I like, first of all, I don't have time off, but like I am tempted just to get an ARC or like be able to read Burn of the Everflame, because this is why it is hard for me to read books when the whole series isn't out. Because I do think about the ending of Heat of the Everflame a lot. Because it was quite the cliffhanger. It's so unfortunate. Can I just say, I have truly never hated adulting more than this moment when I realized I didn't have time to take off, or I shouldn't be spending money on doing that. It's fine. It's cool. The fangirl in me would have loved to do it, just saying. But adulting, it's fine. Man, I just yap and yap and yap. The next question is your newest fictional crush. And I have 3. The first is Luther from the Kindred's Curse saga. I love him. He's giving Faye Mr. Darcy, like, with the intensity, especially with the 2005 Matthew McFadden version. The other 2 crushes are Orion, you know, Lance Orion. I don't know. He's got that riz, and I love the duality. And I can't help myself. It's fine. I feel like the more I read on in Zodiac Academy, and then like with Ruthless Boys, like those little tidbit snippets, I just like him more and more. And it's like someone who's like hard on the outside, but is actually like more soft on the inside and would do like anything for those he loves. And then the third is someone that I never really saw coming. It is Riddock. Xaden is my man. For sure. I love Xaden. One of my top book boyfriends like in the history of ever. But with that being said, Riddock is fun. He's funny, and I'm here for it. The next question is your newest favorite character, and that can only go to one character, and that is Bartholomew, the gargoyle from The Night and the Moth. I also love Six and Rory, and just that whole cast of characters is spectacular, but Bartholomew, amazing. I love Bartholomew. Some of the best quotes are in this book, I swear, and like this gargoyle man, he will make you cry. Speaking of a book that made you cry, that is the next question. And while Bartholomew did make me cry, the book that really made me sob my eyes out is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This is Shelby Van Pelt's first book. I will be reading more books, and I also don't read a whole lot of like contemporary or like literary fiction. I feel like maybe I should be reading some more. Like, I read some here and there, but I definitely prefer to read like romantasy, fantasy, and just romance. Maybe some thrillers. This book really shattered me. There's a POV from an octopus named Marcellus, and I would die for him. And there is a part at the very end, will not spoil anything for you, but just the title and like heading of that chapter made me sob. This book truly had me in my feelings. I actually have proof, and I might actually share it on this video, where I was trying to like finish this book, and I never even posted it because I'm like, this is so embarrassing, but like I was actually sobbing my eyes out like reading this. Kind of like want to tear up thinking about it. It's just so emotional. If you're looking for a book that's like really heartwarming and really good, but will also make you feel like no other, then this is definitely the book for you. Why did I have to look at that page? I don't know why that book gets to me so much. I did myself too dirty. I think I hate myself. The next question is a book that made you happy, and there are a lot of books that made me happy. An easy one to be would be like the Zodiac Academy series. I just get such a good like giddy feeling to where it's like I'm so excited to like read on, like the feeling I got with Throne of Glass and like also ACOTAR. It's just so good. Also like the other book that I will say that made me really happy is First Time Caller. It was just so cozy and romantic, and I loved the back and forth. I love the way that this even comes about, how her daughter is the one who calls the radio line asking for help for her mom, and then how her mom and like the FMC is just so like open and such an amazing character. Lucy is such a great character, and there's like a part at the very end that like definitely had me like squealing. I don't want to spoil it because, you know, I don't like spoiling things, because then like I feel like it makes people a lot less excited to read, or like it takes away the impact of like the thing. But there is a thing that happens like at the very end, setting some high standards. The next question, and the second to the last question, is the most beautiful book you've bought or received. And I will just throw this out there. This is almost coming up for me for 1 year that I've been a Fairy Loot subscriber. I got my subscription invitation in August, like around my birthday. It might have been like a couple days after my birthday or like before my birthday. Regardless, it was the perfect birthday gift because I've been on the Fairy Loot waitlist forever. And I wouldn't even say forever. I would say 5 ever because of how long I've been on that darn waitlist. But I'm off of it, which is all I could have asked for. I have received some beautiful books. Firstly, I want to talk about just like the books that I got a couple days ago, because I was literally unboxing this. I still have to like edit the video to post on my TikTok, and fangirling at how beautiful these books are. I have the YA and adult combo box where it's just the 2 books, which I absolutely love having both because I just want as many pretty books as possible. This is Heir of Storms. I am such a big fan of the teals and the blues and the pink. Are you kidding me right now? Also, like, for the record, I will never turn down the opportunity to show off pretty books. So I think once I've actually hit that year subscription in August, I will do like an overview of the books that I've got. Look at the naked hardback, guys. Oh my God. She's everything. That's not it. The other book too that I got was, you know, Bury Your Bones. And like I was literally opening this on camera and like I said, just shocked. And I know that this looks pretty, you know, but in person, it's a whole different ball game. Like, I'm seeing this, I don't feel like the camera is truly conveying how beautiful some of these books are. I have two more from Fairy Loot that I would like to show off, and I've like kind of shown off. One that I haven't though is The Rose Bargain. I haven't read this, but you are kidding me right now. This is like my aesthetic. Like, look at that. It's my aesthetic. Tell me, you know, do you see what I'm saying? You could see based on this evidence why I would be obsessed with this, right? Just everything about this book is so pretty. I also don't have it out here, but I think that The Courting of Bristol Keats, the Fairy Loot edition, is beautiful. There's mushrooms on the side, and I love little mushrooms. Very like fairy core. And then obviously I've shown The Night and the Moth off. The edges on this are so good, and they just are so cohesive. Work so well with the book. Fairy Loot has like really popped off on some of these books. I think one of the prettiest books too that like I have bought and not like received from Fairy Loot is Shield of Sparrows. Again, a moment of appreciation for the sprayed edges. This is also very much my aesthetic, like the floral and then the dark. The in-paper art, it's nothing crazy, but it's just really pretty. You feel me? Like, it's just pretty. So those are like my personal favorites, and then The Courting of Bristol Keats. The last and final question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And obviously I need to read everything. There are a lot of books that I definitely feel like I need to read. For example, I would like to and need to read the rest of the Zodiac Academy series because I'm just like so into it, and I would like to just get it read. I'm on such a kick and I just can't stop reading it. I also feel like I need to finish the books that I said I was going to read at the beginning of the year, like from January until now, or in June, that I didn't get to finishing. I would like to finish those. And I would also like to read Game of Thrones. I know that it's such a stereotypical fantasy series and people either love this or hate this, and I also hate the fact that it's not finished. But I think I've come to the terms with the fact that I will just accept the show's ending. Game of Thrones is one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and I've been wanting to read the books forever. I got the box set for Christmas last year. I love these new covers, and I was like, I definitely have intentions to read this next year and, you know, this year currently. So, you know, I would like to follow through with those intentions. I love the floppiness of this book, like very ultimate floppy over here. This also just smells amazing. And my camera's dying, and it looks like my camera died, which is really rude because it's not going to charge before I have to start work in like an hour. So I guess I'm just going to finish it here on my phone. But let me know what your favorite book is that you've read in 2025 so far. I cannot wait to hear what your thoughts are. I hope you guys have a lovely day or night or whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, friends.